What is the #1 most scary thing on earth? Is it sharks? Is it spiders? Is it people who pretend to like matcha? While these are all scary, none of those answers are actually correct, because the real most scary thing on earth is asking someone if they want to go out with you. It seems easy, but when you try actually doing it, your palms get sweaty, your knees start shaking, and all of a sudden, you forget how to speak. So of course, the one time I ever tried asking a girl out, it went horribly wrong. Why did it go so bad? Well, it all started at our school dance. So I had a crush on this girl, who I'm just gonna call Sarah, because I don't want to say her real name, and then all you detectives out there find her. But Sarah was my dream girl. We first met in English class, where I sat right next to her, and the moment I met her, I was in love. The reason I liked her so much was because when I was in school, I was pretty introverted, believe it or not. So I didn't talk to a lot of people, and not a lot of people talked to me. But Sarah was different, because even though I was shy around her, she would always ask me questions and include me in whatever was happening. At first, I thought it was a prank or something, because I would always think, why does she care about what I have to say? But as time went on, I started to realize she was just a nice person. So in my mind, Sarah was perfect. To tell you exactly how I felt about her, finding Sarah was like finding a gold scar in Fortnite. It's so rare to find, so when you do, you have to appreciate it, because you never know when you'll find another one. So I knew immediately when I met Sarah, I wanted to ask her out. But I never had a girlfriend before, so I was terrified to do this, which meant for 2 whole years, I never even tried asking her out. But all that changed on the night of our school dance. I convinced myself that this was the moment I was gonna try asking Sarah out. And this was the one and only opportunity I actually had to do it. Because after this dance, it was gonna be summer break, and Sarah always went to Florida with her family for summer. So I wasn't gonna see her for 3 whole months after this. I had a whole master plan for how I was gonna ask her out. Sarah, me, and a couple of our other friends were all planning to go to the dance together. And while we were there, I was gonna request for the DJ to play Sarah's favorite song. When they played it, I would ask Sarah if she wanted to dance, and while we're dancing, I would then ask her if she wanted to be my girlfriend. Simple, right? What could possibly go wrong? Well, you're about to find out. Let's take you back to the morning of the dance. I woke up immediately with pain in my stomach, which I'm guessing was because of how nervous I was, but the pain was so bad that I didn't even eat breakfast. When I went to school that day, I couldn't focus in any of my classes. I was just obsessing over what I was gonna say to Sarah at the dance the whole time. I must have practiced my lines in my head 1,000 times. Sarah, you trying to go out with me? No, that sounds too casual. Sarah, may you be my girlfriend? No, that's too formal. Yo, Sarah, will you marry me? I was driving myself crazy. My friends kept texting me all day, hyping me up because they knew about my plan. All of them were convinced that Sarah was gonna say yes when I asked her out. But none of us could have predicted how that night would actually go. All their pep talks were making me even more nervous, because now I felt like I had to do it or else I was letting everyone down. So I prepared for that dance like it was my wedding. I was checking my hair in the mirror for 30 minutes before we left. I sprayed so much cologne that our smoke alarm was about to go off. I was doing everything I could to make sure this night went perfect. We eventually pulled up to the school, and I took a huge deep breath before getting out of the car. This was it. Tonight was the night I was gonna finally ask Sarah out. If all goes to plan, this could be my future wife. This could be the moment we tell our kids about. My friends and I walked into the gymnasium, which was completely transformed for the dance. And the first thing I did was walk straight to the DJ booth. This was step 1 of my master plan. I went right up to the DJ and said, "Hey man, could you play a specific song for me tonight?" He looked up from his laptop and was like, "Yeah, sure, what song?" So I told him the name of Sarah's favorite song, and he nodded. Cool, I could play that. But I can't tell you exactly when it will play. There's a lot of other people with song requests, so I'm just gonna add it to the list. I told him that was fine and walked away. Phase 1 was officially complete. When I finished talking to the DJ, Sarah arrived and sat down with the rest of our group. She was wearing this bright blue dress that made her eyes pop. She literally looked like a princess, and your boy was about to be the prince. No, actually, I definitely wasn't about to be. Sarah sat down at the table with us, and I tried acting normal. We all just started talking, and about 5 minutes later, the dance officially started. Everyone's getting on the dance floor, showing off their horrible moves, which I'm not judging for, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen me try to dance before, but it's not pretty. And because of that, I wasn't even gonna try getting on the dance floor until the song I requested the DJ to play was on. But here was the problem. I kept glancing over at the DJ booth every few minutes, waiting for the song to play. I waited and I waited and I waited, but about an hour into the dance, it still didn't come on. So now I was getting nervous thinking, did the DJ forget my song? If he did, what do I do about it? Do I just ask her out while a different song is playing? Well, what if I do that, but then the song I actually requested comes on after? I was starting to get really anxious, and Sarah could tell. I was shaking my leg and biting my nails while everyone else was dancing. And Sarah, who always seemed to be able to tell when I wasn't feeling exactly right, asked if I was doing okay. I told her yeah, which obviously was a lie, and said that I just drank too many energy drinks before coming here, so I was really jittery. But then it happened. I heard those opening piano notes to the song I requested, and I knew immediately this was my song. This was it. My heart started pounding so fast in this moment, because this was exactly what I'd been planning for weeks. I was finally about to ask out the girl I liked for 2 years. I stood up from the table, trying to look as confident as possible. Sarah then looked up at me, wondering where I was going because she knew I didn't dance. So I take a step over to her, and right as I'm about to ask her if she would like to dance, something happened that I never could have planned for. My stomach started to rumble. And I know I said before, my stomach hurt the whole day, but that pain felt like butterflies. The pain I was feeling now felt like Taco Bell. Me and my friends all ate there before going to the dance, which, some advice for you guys, don't eat beans when you're nervous, because this wasn't just regular butterflies anymore. Something was seriously wrong with my stomach, and the timing could not have been worse. I just never realized the stomach problems when I was sitting down, but the moment I got up, I knew I had to get to the bathroom ASAP. But I couldn't. My song was playing, and Sarah was sitting right there, looking beautiful, waiting for me to say something. Everything was lining up exactly like I had planned, except for the fact that my stomach was trying to sabotage me. I took another step towards Sarah, about to speak, thinking maybe I could just power through whatever was happening and deal with it later. Mind over matter. I could ask her to dance, we'd have our romantic moment, and then I could immediately go to the bathroom after. It's just another 5 minutes of holding it, but then I felt another rumble in my stomach. Except this one wasn't just a warning rumble. It was a get to the bathroom now or bad things will happen rumble. So I had to make a choice. I could either try pushing through the pain and ask Sarah to dance, risking complete embarrassment if my stomach situation got worse, or I could go to the bathroom, which would mean I'd miss my one opportunity to ask Sarah out during the special song. And ultimately, I had to make the decision that still haunts me to this day. I went to the bathroom. But I didn't quit yet. I was thinking, okay, I'll handle this situation super quickly and get back in time to ask Sarah out still. The song was like 4 minutes long, so if I only took 2 minutes in the bathroom, I could still do this. So without saying anything to Sarah or any of my other friends, I just sprinted towards the bathroom as fast as I could without getting skid marks in my underwear. TMI, I know, I'm sorry. Just trying to give you a realistic picture of the situation. But every step I took felt like I was losing HP. The bathroom was about a minute walk from the gym, but it sure felt a lot longer than that. Every few steps, I had to pause and take a deep breath, making sure that whatever was going on in my stomach stayed inside my stomach. I was waddling like a penguin through that gym, not caring what anyone thought at that point. I might have looked dumb the way I was walking, but I can tell you, I would have looked a lot more dumb if I pooped my pants on the dance floor. I also don't think Sarah would have found that very romantic. Against all odds, I made it to the bathroom in time. I sat down in the stall on the toilet, but that's when I realized this wasn't going to be a quick 30-second bathroom break. This was going to be a full-scale bathroom emergency. This was going to be one of those ones where your foot falls asleep for how long you were sitting there. I tried finishing in the bathroom as fast as I could, but I'm sure you guys have been there before too. When your stomach tells you to stay on that toilet, you have to stay on the toilet. I could still hear the music coming from the gym through the walls, and Sarah's favorite song had already ended. Now, I was just trying to finish as fast as possible and make it back so that Sarah didn't think I ditched her. But going to the bathroom when you have stomach problems is not something you can rush. You just have to sit there and let nature take its course until you're finished. While I was in the bathroom, I kept checking my phone obsessively, just watching the minutes tick by. 8:15, 8:20, 8:30. The dance was scheduled to finish at 9:30, but no one ever actually stayed till the very end. So each minute that passed was another minute off my perfect evening slipping away. I knew I didn't have much time to fix the situation. Every time I thought I was done and ready to leave, another wave of those beans I had before the dance would hit me, and I'd realize I was nowhere close to being done. It was like my digestive system had been saving up the whole semester just to ruin this night. Then I heard something I never would have expected. A song started playing through the walls, but it sounded like Sarah's song again. It was hard to tell with the muffled sound, but it definitely sounded similar. There's no way they could be playing it again. But then I remembered how much people were liking it when it went on the first time, so maybe they just asked for them to run it back. So I realized I still have a shot. I could still fix this whole night if I just finish up in the bathroom in the next 2 minutes. My future wife depended on it. So I'm trying my best to finish up as fast as possible. And I'm about to do it. But that's when I hear voices in the bathroom. And this is where things got 10 times worse. Because you may be thinking, oh, well, what's wrong with other people going into the bathroom? Nothing, except for the fact that the voices were girls. So I peeked under the stall doors, and that's when I realized there were no urinals in here, which meant I didn't walk into the boys' restroom, I walked into the girls'. I never used the bathrooms by the gymnasium before, and I was in such a rush that I accidentally went into the wrong one. This changed everything, because now I couldn't just rush out of the bathroom as fast as possible when I was finished and get back to the dance floor. Now, I had to wait for a moment where there were no girls inside the bathroom for me to leave, which was basically never, because they all kept coming in to fix their hair or makeup. I was personally done using the toilet after about half an hour, but I couldn't leave because girls kept coming in. So I just sat there in the stall with my feet up because I didn't want any girls to peek under and see a dude wearing size 11 Jordans, and I waited for a moment where I could escape. There were even times where girls tried pulling on the door of the stall I was in, and I had to respond with, occupied. Finally, at around 9:15, the bathroom went silent. I peeked under the stall and didn't see anyone's shoes, so this was my moment to leave. I immediately made a run out of there as fast as possible, and somehow, someway, I got out without anyone noticing, as far as I know. 15 minutes was all I had left to get back into that dance floor and ask Sarah to dance before it ended. At this point, I didn't care what song was playing when I got back there. My new plan was to get in, ask Sarah to dance to whatever song was playing at that moment, and then finally pop the big question, Ronaldo or Messi? No, I'm joking. The real question, will you be my girlfriend? This night could still somehow have a perfect ending. I burst through the doors of the gymnasium, and the music hits me full blast. There were some people still on the dance floor, but a lot of students had left by this point. I quickly scanned around, looking for Sarah's blue dress. I looked at the table we were sitting at before, but there was no sign of her. She also wasn't on the dance floor. So I went to my two friends who were still actually at our table, and I asked them, hey, have you seen Sarah? They said no, and that a lot of the group just kind of split up randomly. According to them, some of our friends left by this point, some didn't. They didn't know. So now the panic hit me again. Did I just ruin the one opportunity I had to ask Sarah out? Was any chance I had with her gone now? I wasn't sure. But then another one of my friends came walking back from the dance floor, and I asked him, hey, do you know where Sarah's at? And his response was, I don't know for sure,
but I think I saw her leave.
That sentence hit me like a punch to the stomach. Not as bad as the stomach pain I was feeling before. I grabbed my friend's shoulders, probably a little too aggressively, and said, what do you mean she left? When did she leave? Where did she go? Chill out, man. You're freaking me out. I don't know exactly when she left. Maybe 20 minutes ago? She was asking where you went, and nobody knew. And then she kind of just disappeared. When I heard this, I felt sick to my stomach for another reason now. She was literally looking for me, and I was nowhere to be found. I could picture exactly what probably happened. Sarah was sitting at our table, asking our friends if they had any idea where I went to. But after about 45 minutes, when I still wasn't there, she probably figured that I ditched her, so she left the dance. I thought I blew it, completely blew it. But little did I know, I was nowhere near right with what I thought happened, and this night was far from over. When I thought Sarah had already left the dance, I was too sad to stay now, so I decided I was just gonna leave and go home. My friends that were still there said I should stay and we could go get food after, but I didn't want to do anything now. But as I'm walking out to the parking lot, I saw something that made me go, wait, hold on, this night might not be over yet. I can still save this. So what did I see? Sarah's car was still in the parking lot, which meant she must have still been at the dance, or somewhere around school at least. This was really confusing though, because all my friends said that they hadn't seen her in a little bit. So if that was true, where was she this whole time? Maybe she had some Taco Bell before the dance too and got stuck in the bathroom. No, that's not what happened. I wasn't sure. But when I saw her car, I felt that was a sign that I was still supposed to ask her out that night. The only obstacle was I didn't know what to do, because since her car was there, I figured she was still at school. But I'd already walked around the whole school and there was no sign of her. So how was I going to find her? Well, in my eyes, there was only one option. Just sit by her car and wait till she comes back. And this may sound crazy to you guys, but when I saw that her car was still in the parking lot, you know what I was thinking? She must have been looking for me. And that's why no one could find her. She probably left the gymnasium trying to find me. So I called her phone to figure out exactly where she went. But unfortunately, she didn't answer. Then I remembered her saying that she left her phone in the car because her dress didn't have any pockets. And she didn't want to have to hold it the whole dance. So if I still wanted to see her before the end of the night, there was only one way to. Wait at her car until she comes back from wherever she was. So I sat down, leaned against her car, and waited. After about 10 minutes of doing that without any sign of her, the dance was ending now. And I could see the last few people who were still there filing out of the gymnasium. Every time I heard someone come out of there, I would quickly look up, hoping to see that bright blue dress. But it was always someone else. More and more cars started leaving the parking lot to the point where there was probably only 10 to 15 left. But Sarah's was still one of them, even though she was nowhere to be seen. I was starting to get really confused and now a little worried. Where could she possibly be? Forget just asking her out. Was she okay? I waited there until every other car, except the staff workers, had left. Yet somehow, Sarah's car was still there. The dance ended 30 minutes ago, so at this point, it was just janitors left. Obviously now, I was just focused on making sure that Sarah was okay. But I didn't even know how to confirm that because she didn't have her phone. And when I tried texting any of my other friends asking if they were with Sarah, they weren't. It was obvious to me now that she wasn't just wandering around the school trying to find me. So something else was happening. But what? Well, I knew waiting by her car any longer wouldn't fix the issue. And if I hadn't got back home by 11, my mom was gonna ground me because she said I couldn't stay out any longer than that. So I had to drive back home. I wasn't about to give up on trying to find Sarah, but I had to get back home and brainstorm what I could do. The whole drive home, I kept thinking about what could have possibly happened to her. I knew something about this situation just wasn't right. I thought about driving by her house and seeing if she got home safe, but it was already 11 p.m. by this point. So I didn't want to wake her whole family up just to be wrong. And I never met her parents before, so I was super nervous to do that. The first thing I did when I got home was check social media, hoping that there was some some sign out there that she was okay. Maybe someone from the dance posted something with her in it. I was grasping at straws because I didn't really think this would work, but that was the best I had. Although to my surprise, trying to find her through social media actually worked because I was scrolling through the stories from people that went to my school. And as I'm quickly swiping through them, I spot Sarah in someone's story. I quickly swipe back to make sure my eyes weren't deceiving me, and sure enough, there she was. This next thing I'm about to tell you is the reason I still have never had a girlfriend to this day. And honestly, I don't know if I ever will at this point. Because the story that I saw Sarah in was from a guy that went to our school that wasn't a part of our friend group. His name was Steve. Okay, no big deal. Maybe there was just an after party at his house that everyone went to, right? Well, no, because in this story, it was just Sarah and Steve's arm around her. So then I messaged someone who I knew was Steve's friend and said, hey, do you know why Sarah is with Steve right now? The guy texted me back with the worst message I could have asked for. He said, oh yeah, they danced together for a little bit and then went back to his house. That's when it all clicked. While I was trapped in the bathroom, having the worst hour of my life, Sarah must have thought that I ditched her and left. So she was upset, thinking I went off somewhere without her, and she decided, all right, if Tyler's gonna ditch me, I'm gonna go hang out with someone else. Steve probably asked her to dance, like I was gonna do, and then they went back to his house together. I was crushed, and from that point on, I was way too hurt to even think about asking Sarah out anytime soon. I know she didn't mean any harm, and this was my fault, but it hurt so much that we just started to drift apart, and after a while, didn't really talk to each other. The one time I was gonna ask a girl out, she ended up going to another guy's house that same night. And that's why I don't talk to women.